friend. I know that you said it wasn't necessary for me to record a video for you, but I decided that I would do it anyway because I was planning on making a video like this, and I like the idea of pretending that you're sitting here with me while I'm recording it. So I'm going to call you Jason because I know that's a character that you like, rather than using your real name, but you know who you are. What I'm gonna do right now is I'm gonna eat some of these really disgusting snacks called bagel bites, and I'm gonna make some tea for you and me. I will show you my tea collection, part of it anyway. While the tea is boiling downstairs, the water is boiling, and we'll just have a little chat. So I'm going to start by taking a bite out of this bagel bite. These things are that kind of frozen delight that's just kind of really gross. Except sometimes you really crave them, and that's what I'm doing right now, is craving them. But they really don't taste very good, objectively speaking. So, my tea collection. I'm going to start with the herb ones, which aren't technically teas because they don't have tea in them, but they have these different other flavors in them. This one is cranberry apple. It's got hibiscus, apple, rosehip, cranberry, elderberry, and lingonberry pieces. It's got a nice sort of fall flavor to it. I'm going to pause it just a minute and go get the hot water from downstairs. So if I suddenly jump up, that's why. So that's one of my herbal ones. I don't think I feel like having that today, though. It's breezy today. Actually, there's quite a breeze going on, wind blowing outside the window, which you may be able to hear from time to time, but it's still fairly springy weather, not very fall. This one's called Cold Comfort. It's actually a tea. It has green tea in it. It also has lemon peel and ginger and peppermint, not peppermint, spearmint, lemongrass, and rose hips. I think this might be the one I make today. I don't have a cold, but my joints are kind of aching, and I think it might be the low pressure system. This might be nice for making me feel better. I'm going to set that aside for a moment. And this one is Mango Madness. It has dried mango and hibiscus and orange and apple and rose hips. This is a favorite of my boys. They really like this with honey in it. We have it sometimes when the weather is like it is today, cold and gray. I imagine that it's probably sunny and hot where you are. I think it always is, isn't it? Okay. Now this one is a tea tin. And I can't actually remember what tea is in here, so let's see. The tea tins are the ones that I fill up a lot, so this is probably one of my favorites, but yeah, that is got lapsang souchong in it, but it's my bourbon soaked lapsang souchong. It's pretty tasty. It's got a very strong sort of almost malted taste, on top of the typical lapsang souchong flavor. Lapsang souchong, for those of you who don't know, is a smoked black tea, so it's got a very smoky smell and a very smoky flavor to it. Some people hate it. I like it. I think I like it because I grew up with wood stoves and campfires, and the taste of it reminds me of that. I can understand why some people might not like to actually drink something that tastes like smoke, but it's not like cigarette smoke. It's like wood smoke. It's like the kind of smoke you would have in liquid smoke that you would add to barbecue. And as a matter of fact, some people use lapsang souchong ground up in like a spice rub that you'd put on steak for grilling. So there's that one. And then I have this other pretty container. And another one I drink with some frequency. And this one is just a black tea. It's a probably this one is Formosa Oolong. I think that's what it smells like. It's definitely not lapsang souchong, which is a good sort of tea flavored tea. There's nothing offensive about this tea whatsoever. It's a good one for if I just feel like drinking a cup of tea and I don't feel like having a tea drinking kind of experience. I just want a cup of tea. This is the one I usually use. Well, I should say in the fall, summer and fall, I drink lapsang souchong a lot in the winter time. So, I mean, there's this one. It's just a plain metal container. Also a tea tin, but not a decorated one. This one's going to be my green tea. It smells nice. This is actually a jasmine green tea. So it's got jasmine blossoms mixed in with it, and it's a really delicious light tea. It's very good for summer. Makes a good cold tea, and doesn't take too long to brew. Most green teas take about 2 minutes to brew. Black teas take 5 minutes or longer, so it's possible to oversteep it and then it will get bitter, but it's a very lovely light flavor. And then the last one I have here is in my black tin. Silver is for green, black is for black tea. I think this one is my lapsang souchong. Oh no, this is the bourbon soaked one. This is definitely the bourbon one because I actually, it is so fragrant that I actually wrapped it in a plastic bag. In a Ziploc bag in the tea drum. It's very powerful smell. So you can see this has some flecks in it. I can't remember what the additional herbs are in it, but it's primarily lapsang souchong, but it's lapsang souchong that's been soaked in bourbon, in bourbon barrels, so, and then dried. And I gotta tell you, it has this really powerful sweet smell. It's almost like, well, I mean, it smells like bourbon that's been sitting out, but not in that nasty, stale alcohol sort of smell. It's like a, like a sweet brown sugar kind of smell. Which is why I need to keep it wrapped up so that it doesn't stink up my cupboards. those are the teas, and I would ask you which you'd prefer to have, but of course you're not actually here sitting with me, so I'm going to make this cold comfort tea, and you can pretend I'm making whatever tea you would like, because if you were here sitting with me, I would make whatever tea you would like to have. I didn't bring my measuring spoon with me, so I'm just going to pour some, because I'm always like that. I think what I like best about this cold comfort tea is that it has spearmint in it. Spearmint's one of my favorite flavors. Not usually for tea, but you know, for other things. Okay, hot water. So while I was showing you the rest of the teas, the boiling water was resting, which seems like a waste, but it's important for green teas and herbal infusions that you let the water rest from a boil so it will cool slightly before you pour it over your leaves, so that you don't have bitter flavors. So I'm going to let that steep for about 5 minutes. And while I do that, I'm going to eat another one of these really gross bagel bites. And another thing I wanted to do while we're having a little chat is fold a lotus blossom flower and make it with this nice blue paper, because I know you like the color blue. I'm folding the paper diagonally like this so that I can make a square. And in order to get that to work, I need to make sure that I'm folding right on this corner here. And I'm lining it up along the edge. That way I know that the two adjacent sides will be equal in length. It's a little trick to get a square paper without too much difficulty, if it doesn't matter that you have a diagonal fold. And then I just cut along this edge. Like that. Now I'm going to do what's called a blintz base. Now, there are a lot of origami works that start with this blintz base. The notorious, what do you call this, fortune cookie, cookie catcher starts with a blintz base. So we're going to do that. just folded it back along the other diagonal, increased it so they have this X shape in creases, and then I'm going to take the corners. This will be at the center because I folded it directly along the corners. Take these, fold the corner to the center, like this. And I'm going to do that with all of the corners, as you can see, as you can probably guess. If you're thinking that wasn't quite 5 minutes, it may be because I cut a little bit of video footage out. So that you wouldn't hear the beeping of the timer. Okay. So the next step is to then take these corners and fold them to the center. Cheers. Okay. I've done that, then we flip it over. Press the creases flat again. Probably have better luck with this if I use thinner paper. But again, I seem to be stuck on using construction paper for these, which is very thick for the kind of thing we are doing. Now I'm going to take this corner and I'm going to fold it to the center again. This is going to get hard because the paper's so thick. It makes the folding harder. We're almost there. It's a tight fold. I would use my straight edge to help, but I think it's too big. I don't think it would help. Let's see, this one to here. Almost there. Come on, we can do it. It's going to be a wrinkly lotus. But that's okay, because lotuses are wrinkly in real life too, right? Okay. Now that we've got that fold all done, the next thing we're going to do is fold the edges back out again, leaving a gap. So we're going to fold them so they poke out like that. And the way you want to judge the depth is that it's good to have it about halfway, maybe a little less than halfway at the edge here, where it ends up hitting on this triangle. And then you want them to be about equal all the way around. Although again, lotus blooms aren't perfect in real life, so this doesn't have to be perfectly symmetric either. And this is going to form the base of our flower. Okay. There's the base. And then we tip it over. Nice and flat. As flat as we can get it. It's okay if it pops up some. Then we're going to pull these edges out and bend them up in a diagonal. Yes. And these are petals for the lotus blossom, so it's okay that they don't stay flat. You want them to stick up some. And then we're going to do the same with the inside ones. These are a little trickier to get all the. There we go. And bend them to the middle. Not to the middle, to the in the middle, to the edge. So that is our lotus blossom fold. If I remembered how to do it right, which I think I did, mix right. Something pretty for you and blue. To have with our tea. And the thing about lotus blossoms, of course, well, I should say from my learnings from pop culture. What's love got to do with it? The story of Ike and Tina Turner, mostly Tina Turner. She does a chant, if I remember it right, and please forgive me if I'm butchering it, Nam Myoho Renge Kyo, which, according to the movie, and I never did any other research on it beyond that, means something along the lines of from the darkest mud grows the lotus flower. So when I make lotus flowers, because I do origami for relaxation and meditation, I like to think about that phrase and think about what the lotus blossom symbolizes to me, which is the positive things that come out of struggle, finding strength, and I hope that you find those things as well. I know that you were telling me you're having a hard time recently, feeling kind of blue, and so I hope this cheered you up. The idea of sitting here drinking tea with me would cheer you up. The weather outside is gray and windy and cold, as I mentioned earlier, so it was very nice to spend the time drinking some tea with you and folding this origami lotus blossom. And I'm wishing you good thoughts. I hope that the weather there is very pleasant, nice and warm, and that you get rest, especially now when you need it most. Alright, pour a little more tea. Cheers to you, my friend.